Guess what? I baked Chinchin for the first time. Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So here are all the ingredients we'll be using for this production, okay? For this recipe, I used 500 grams of flour, 50 grams of butter, 75 grams of sugar, 30 grams of milk flavor, that is just a sachet of it, 1 Oladia herb, I used 1 large egg. Then for the flavor, I decided to combine nutmeg and cinnamon. These two spices really complement each other. Nutmeg adds a warm, nutty flavor, while cinnamon brings in a sweet, aromatic note. Alright, so together they give this Chinchin delicious, rich taste that makes it stand out. First, I mixed all my dry ingredients together in a bowl. The flour, the sugar, salt, nutmeg, cinnamon. Mixing them thoroughly makes sure every bite of Chinchin is evenly flavored. So you want to give that a good mix. Okay, before I continue, let me quickly say a big thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel. I truly appreciate your support. And if you are new here, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more delicious and educative recipes. Thank you. Alright, so you go in with your butter. Give that a good mix, okay? Mix until it is well incorporated and forms a crumbly texture, alright? That is exactly what we want before adding the wet ingredients. Alright, now a quick tip about butter and Chinchin. The amount you use makes a big difference. If you add too much butter to your dough, it becomes too soft and sticky, and instead of crunchy Chinchin, you might end up with something more like cookies, soft and a bit greasy. On the other hand, if you use too little butter, the Chinchin can turn out hard, dry and lacking in flavor, right? But when you strike the right balance, you get that perfect texture, crunchy, slightly tender, and rich taste. Alright lovely, so in a separate bowl, I cracked in 1 egg, going with my 1 Oladia herb and a little water. I whisked that together, alright, I'm done whisking that. And I wash my hands because I'm going to be working with my clean hands for the mixing. First, I created a well in the dry ingredients, then added the wet mixture bit by bit. This part is not on speed. I purposely did not speed it up because I wanted to see the process of how I mix my Chinchin dough. Alright, so apply your wet mixture bit by bit. You don't have to pour everything at once. When it comes to kneading your Chinchin dough, you don't have to apply too much first. Alright, because the more you work it, the more gluten develops. That will make the Chinchin tough and chewy instead of light and crunchy Chinchin, and you don't want that. So just knead enough to bring the dough together into a smooth, soft ball. You see what I'm doing, right? Keep adding the wet mixture as needed. Don't add everything at once, and gently bring your dough together. Alright, so let me give us a quick tip, right? Let's say you want to work with 2000 grams of flour. It is best you divide your flour into 2 parts, okay? After mixing all your dry ingredients together, or better still, you can mix them differently. I mean, after dividing your flour into 1000 grams each, you can then mix your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients differently, then mix differently. That way, it will not be too much for you, okay? It will be easier to knead. You won't get tired. And you will also make sure every part of the dough is well mixed and even. All right, so patience here really pays off. Bit by bit mixing, gentle kneading, and not rushing the process gives you that perfect chinchy texture. All right, crunchy but not hard. Okay, well, you can see that our dough is almost ready. It's pretty coming together, not too hard, just the perfect dough that we need. And here is a quick tip. If you are new to baking, you will know your dough is ready when it no longer sticks to your hands. Just look at my hands, right? Good. But still feels soft and easy to roll. That is the perfect point to stop kneading. Just look at that. Our dough is ready. You see that? This is what I'm talking about. All right, so after kneading, let your dough rest for about 10 minutes, either on the counter or in the fridge. This relaxes the gluten, makes it easier to roll out, and gives you smoother, crunchier chinchin. Okay? Now, it's time to roll out our dough. You don't need too much flour on your work surface. Little amount of flour is enough, okay? Especially if you have a good dough after kneading, okay? So that is why kneading your dough properly is very important, because if your dough turns out too soft, you might need to add excess flour, and that will really affect your chinchin, okay? Because it will no longer come out crunchy, rather it will come out hard, okay? So that is why you have to knead your dough properly. Now let's talk about baked chinchin. For me, one thing I really love about baked chinchin is that it is a heavier option compared to our fried chinchin, okay? It contains less oil, which makes it suitable for people who are watching their diets. Even for those who are diabetic, they can actually snack on baked chinchin, alright? Baked chinchin can be a better alternative since it doesn't carry the same risk of excess oil contributing to sugar spikes, alright? Of course, moderation is key. That is it. But this way, you can still enjoy your favorite treat without feeling guilty. Let me ask you, my audience, which do you prefer? Is it the baked one, or better still, have you ever tried baked chinchin before? If yes, which do you prefer? Is it baked or fried? Please share your own opinion, okay? The one you prefer. Alright, so as you can see, I've rolled out the first dough and I'm gently cutting my dough into smaller pieces, just the way I want it. Now here comes the work. This is different from frying. If it were to be frying, all I just need to do is just to put, a generous amount of my cut doughs into the frying oil. But for this baking, I have to carefully pick it one after the other and arranged it on my baking tray. So it involves a lot of work actually, okay? But it's worth it anyway. For the first batch, I set my oven temperature to 250 degrees and I baked for about 15 to 20 minutes, thereabout. Well, what I noticed was they baked quickly and came out very crunchy, all right? Almost like biscuits in texture, all right? I also noticed that the high temperature gave them an extra crunch, but they baked faster than I expected. So I continue with my rolling and cutting of my dough, all right, while I also keep an eye on my chinchin in the oven. You can see that I opened it to check to see how it was going, okay? So please, you have to do that. So for the second and third batches, I reduced the oven temperature to 160 degrees and baked them for about 30 to 40 minutes, okay? The result was a little different. These batches had a texture closer to our traditional fried chinchin. They were still crunchy, but not as biscuit-like as the first batch. Both versions tasted great, but the texture was slightly different. Here is something important I discovered. When I first removed the chinchin from the oven, it felt a little soft, even though it was already golden brown. I didn't panic. I simply left them uncovered and allowed them to cool completely. By the time they cooled down, they had become perfectly crunchy. So don't make the mistake of thinking they are underbaked just because they feel soft straight out of the oven. The cooling process is what gives them their final crunch. Okay, and here we are, golden brown, perfectly baked chinchin. From the sound, you will know that this chinchin is truly crunchy. Thanks for watching and God bless you.